Welcome, brothers and sisters, for joining me here again. This is Magic, and I have another special guest. We had so much fun last time. We decided let's do it again. Please help me welcome Bast Deluna. How you doing, sis?
Hello, my brother. How are you? My day
I'm
is fine. We hot over here though. We real hot. It's hot.
imagine how it is in Texas, though.
Oh, never mind. Let me stop complaining. It's
This is
crazy.
why I'm inside.
Mm-hmm.
This
Same.
is wait a minute. Okay. Yeah. We had an interesting topic last time that you and I spoke, but we had a couple things you wanted to discuss this time. What's on your mind?
Well, I was actually ruminating on how imagination really plays a major part in our magic, and how, especially like in our educational system, they really kind of take the emphasis out of imagination in our kids, and also just uh, all the social construct, with the video games and things like that. Everything is put right there in front of you to, just employ action without having to think and imagine anything. And so we're kind of getting away from that, and we need to get back to it. We have to get back to employing our imagination, our visuals, our visualization, in order to really make impact in our magical workings.
Okay. Okay. And how do you suggest we do that? What would be a start?
So it's just like meditation. It's a practice. It's something that you have to kind of like get back into. Um, the best thing to do is kind of get it started is maybe going through guided meditation. Um, YouTube has a million guided meditations that you can get into, and it does two things. When you're going through these guided meditations, they're what they're doing is suggesting. It's a power of suggestion, giving you visualizations to get into, so that you can kind of go and go on a little vision quest type journey yourself. This strengthens your ability to visualize things that you want to employ in your magical workings, whether it be um, prosperity work. Prosperity visualizations in your prosperity work is extremely important, because you are getting away from the idea of lack, what you're lacking, and you are putting in your life, you're inviting into your life um, what you want, what your, a lifestyle, certain lifestyles, or just certain things. It's not even just about getting your bills paid, but we have to start to really dream and think big, outside of ourselves. Just the everyday mundane things of just getting your bills paid, you know that's not a lifestyle. That's just living life. But we as magical folks need to really think outside the box, and that takes imagination. um, what was I saying? So getting back to the guided meditations, they're kind of like if you're not used to employing those things, within yourself, that is a great way to kind of get into it. And then also journaling, writing, allowing yourself to daydream sometimes, that's kind of a meditation within itself, is daydreaming. People have always looked down on it, but on daydreaming, and put it in a context that it's like wasting time, but that's absolutely not true. This is actually employing your mind, as long as you're not daydreaming about some bullshit, I mean, that's subjective, but it's like, daydreaming about, big booty girl, just coming along, whatever. That's like, but no, like really, calling it, when you're daydreaming, you are actually expanding your horizons, your mental horizons. And when you are going into the universal laws, one of the main universal laws is all is mental. So we have to get away from, like I said, the social constructs of what society kind of builds up for us, like reality television. They're basically feeding you what your reality is supposed to be, or what reality is, and that's just like a small little drop in the bucket to what reality can be for each and every one of us. And instead of indulging in what they're feeding you, into the programming of it, which is the reason why television is called programming in itself, because it's programming you. You got to think outside. You got to get away from that and go within to see exactly what your limitations are. And your limitations tend to be not even just the sky. It's actually the cosmos. The cosmos is your limit.
So basically, what you're saying is our imaginations are, well, the lack of imagination is what limits us in our day-to-day living, because
Indeed.
Most folks live day to day.
Yep.
Get up, go to work, come home, sleep, start all over, right?
Yep.
That's not the way to live, though. So
it's not living.
Not living at all. So your starting point would be like guided meditations.
Mm-hmm. Guided meditations, and then another thing. Sorry to interject, but another thing to do is just writing, allowing yourself to, daydream and write about it and write it down, and let your mind wander a little bit. You'd be very, very surprised at what comes through.
Absolutely, absolutely. Sciences that I was big on when I first started my magical journey was shaming. Shamanism largely depends on your imagination.
Indeed.
And we are so, it's like I repeat this a lot, but I'm saying it again. The water, the fluoride in the water, food being poisoned, and all these things that dumb us down and have us dependent on a system that don't really think about. So we are, when the Bible says we have to become as children, that's exactly what it is. It's the mind that we have, so such a powerful force, and they got us thinking this bullshit that you got to rely on something outside yourself to live your best life. That's just not true.
That's right. Yeah, when you're talking about that you brought up a really, really, big point there. It's become like children. Children don't know their limitations. We teach them their limitations, when it comes to what they can't do, who they can't be, who they are supposed to be. We teach them that. but they don't know, they don't come out knowing their limitations, which is the reason why they are so open. So to be a child again is absolutely the a conduit to getting back to your, living and imagining your best life.
Right. Absolutely agree with that. I know people see me and they think I'm a serious guy all the time because of my Virgo nature. That we are serious people, but I'm silly as shit. Just ask my wife. I'm really goofy.
Right.
um, but that's a childlike feature that we all should embody. You know,
Yes.
nobody is meant to work 40 hours a week for a corporation to make them rich and be tired. Right? Um, do you think us as magical beings and living our best life, do you think that goes with being in a corporate environment?
I think that kind of goes against being in the corporate environment.
Right. Right.
So I've done some traveling. I've done quite a bit of traveling, all around the world, different places in Europe and Asia. And what I've observed is that the world spectrum has a way different, way of operating um, than we do. And there's a reason for that, you know. Um, the way that they program us is that to live our best lives, quote unquote, is to go and secure a job and accrue things that, 9 times out of 10, you may not even be able to afford, but accruing things is the way to live your best life. And, and just work yourself to death, basically. Just work, 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 work. It's not even about a 40-hour work
Right.
week these days. It's about a 70-hour work week and, 80 hours, to more than, if you're lucky enough to make enough with one job, it's still, and it'll still probably be working you to death. But a lot of people in this day and age are holding down 2 or 3 jobs, um, in order to accrue things. But what I've noticed from the world spectrum is that people are about experiences, not things, you know. And even the corporate environment on the in other parts of the globe, they're not about working hard. It's about working smart. So a
Right.
lot of these places may have like you mandating working 4 days a week out of 5, or and a lot of places, instead of accruing 2 weeks out of the year, 365 days a year for vacation, they are actually they give you a whole month off, like an entire month off, and people go on holiday, which is the reason why you see an influx of tourism coming into the States around like August, because everything shuts down in certain parts of Europe, or even the Middle East. I've been to Dubai, and um, during a specific time in Dubai of the day, they shut everything down from, I think it's like 12 to 2, where everything shuts down. Everybody sits in contemplation, or you go to sleep, or you do something. But that is a time for you to just shut everything. Actually, I think it might even be 3 hours. I'm not sure, but it's a significant amount of time during the day. And it's because, they understand that as human beings, first of all, just as human beings, you can't just beat a dog into a ground in order and to make it perform. They human beings or just living beings, period, thrive off of wellness. And that's just not what's taught here. So then that's just the mundane. But when you get to the magical part of us and, how we require our energy, and what the corporate environment does is take all the energy and leave you with very, very little to work with.
Right.
And
Right.
it is not by accident. It is not incidental. I believe it is absolutely on purpose.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And just to go off that point that you just made, last time I was in a corporate environment, I found myself using my magic to counteract bullshit. And I've had to brown bottle somebody. I've had to get a person removed from their position.
Yep.
I mean, I know people may sound like, oh damn, you doing that kind of shit. Well, yeah, if you're trying to fuck with me,
Absolutely. Absolutely. We don't know. Come on now.
yeah,
Absolutely.
exactly. So I found that I've been to several of the places that you mentioned. I know Spain does it, and
Yes, Spain too.
I believe Russia does it, where they
Yes.
have vodka with lunch or something like that.
Right.
But like you said, that was a great point that you made, that wellness uh, helps us as beings, humans, to perform to our maximum efficiency. And the United States have it fucked up. They really
Oh
do.
yeah.
So working in the corporate environment and being a magical being, yeah, it takes so much energy. You see what I'm saying? Even
That's
if you
right.
weren't a magical being and didn't know how to counteract, it's going to be that much worse.
Oh yeah.
But I found that it's just not worth it, to be quite honest. 97% of small businesses in the United States are small businesses. We are so afraid to step out and open up our own businesses.
Yeah.
Um, you know how many sisters can open up? As much money the sisters spend on hair, how much, it won't take much to do something like that. But yet, we go into these Asian shops and do that shit. You know what I'm saying? So,
I absolutely agree with you 150% on that. Just case in point, my oldest son is a gamer, and he's been a gamer all throughout high school and whatnot, and he used to get in trouble by me constantly because he was always on gaming and not doing, and he's an extremely smart, extremely intelligent young man, if I do say so myself. He's extremely intelligent, but would just, stay focused on the game, and put all his energy and focus into gaming. And I'm like, I told him, bruh, in order for you to, if this is what you really want to do, why would you be the one gaming and the one that is playing the games and watching everybody else play the games? Why don't you be the one designing the games, or be the
right,
one that's at, that you gotta, if you're going to put all this focus into something, make it work for you. You don't work for it. So when it comes to like hair and things like that, I absolutely agree with you. When it comes to um, us as women, and it's not just Black women; it's all women, actually. But of course, I primarily care about our sisters, and so my thing is, why give it to other communities? Why give it to other cultures? Why not, get it for yourself, like make it work for yourself? But I will tell you, the part of the reason why it's a problematic is because we have been taught very well, like, again, programming is real, and we've got to, it's going to take some time to deprogram ourselves, but we have been taught a long time that not to trust each other, not to trust
Right.
ourselves, not to trust each other, not to, if someone, there are two stores side by side, and there's a black owned store and an Asian owned store. um and the Asian store can have, like, lesser goods, or lesser quality, but a lot of people will still go to the Asian shops
Right.
because they've been taught that black is going to equal
Right.
inferiority. We've got a complex. So that's just something that we've got to, break through it. And we've got to teach our younger generations, because we're becoming elders, quickly.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
That we've got to teach our younger generation that they've got the power, and that we've got, all we got is each other. So we've got to trust ourselves and each other. We've got to learn. We've got to teach them to trust within and trust our family. You know,
Right.
that's the
Two.
only way,
Right.
because
Two.
that's how the Asians do it. That's how the Jews do it. That's how every other culture that have made a name for themselves. And even when they are demonized, that we got to, Jewish people were highly demonized for long periods of time. They still demonized, but they just don't give a shit. You know,
Right.
that's the thing. And the problem is, we've been taught to give a shit for so long about what everybody else is thinking about us.
Right. Right.
So we gotta knock all that shit out, and that's just going to, it didn't happen overnight, so it's not going to fix itself overnight. We've got to actively put the energy into doing so.
2 points that I wanted to go off of what you just said. You said Jewish people, they don't give a shit. You know what else they don't give a shit about? They don't give about a shit about doing rituals right there in our neighborhoods. Doing
Right.
rituals right out in the open and make their business thrive. They do shit like that. And here we are still, oh, that's of the devil and scared as shit. But yet still, they're
Program.
using the ancient sciences
Yeah,
because
honey.
we're so programmed. You know what I'm saying? We're
Program.
so programmed that we see a sister punched in the face by an Asian guy.
Yeah.
Some brothers go to protest. The Asian guy, he plays chess. He gives a 50% sale on all weaves and had a line out the door full of sisters. After the incident happened, it was highly publicized. If that's not programming, I don't know what the hell is. I would say,
That's nothing but programming. But again, you got to understand, it's almost like the Stockholm Syndrome, where you go and continue to laud your oppressor. You continue to, like, your terror. Your terrorizer, the person who has, you know um, the person who has caused you harm, and you continue to go back to that same person over and over again. It's kind of the same thing. We feel like, you know first of all, we feel like the weaves alone. I don't have a problem with weaves. I don't have a problem with anything. I feel like we, as Black women, we can, rock any kind of, color, or hair or style that we want, just because we like to change shit up. However, when you become dependent on it because you feel like your real hair isn't enough, that is problematic. And I think a lot of the women who go back to the oppressive, and just mean spirited shop owners, is because they feel like they are not enough unless they have these things.
right, right, absolutely.
And that's always been something that is, very, very, um that's very close to my heart, is always lifting up us so that we can see that we are way more than we think that we are. That we, and the thing about it is everybody else knows it too. We are the only ones that don't. If we were not shit, then we would not be the most appropriated culture. We create culture. We create American culture in so many different dimensions, and but what people do is take our agency away from us, and then still you know um, steer the narrative in a negative way, while just like the what is it, the congressman, the GOP congressman said about the guy that just won the Democratic primary in Florida. I don't know if you guys were following that, but he just is a black guy that just won the Democratic nomination for the primary in Florida for the gubernatorial primary. So he's running for governor, representing the Democrats. The GOP congressman said, well, we can't let this guy win because then it would be monkeying around or a monkey down or some shit like that. He said some right. And
monkeying
then
it up or something.
Yeah,
like
monkeying
that.
it up, right? So then
Yeah.
so he says some dumb shit like that. And then with a straight face, said, oh, that's taken out of context. Oh, now you're race baiting, this, that, the third, because we're too stupid to know exactly what the fuck you're doing, like right in front of our faces. And so, but that's the context that's what we've been dealing with this whole time. It's like a whole gaslighting culture. So we gotta understand that if it smells like bullshit, if it looks like bullshit, 9 times out of 10, it is bullshit. And we don't have to take bullshit. We don't.
So, a lot of people would hear this or watch this video and say, well, y'all got all these solutions. So what y'all propose? I propose you step out on your own and start to generate your own income.
Definitely.
I suggest living a magical life, honoring your ancestors. I suggest getting with these ancient scientists. That's
All
what I
right.
suggest. Now,
Foundational.
right. I have been a business owner for some years now. When I first decided, fuck the corporate environment, I hate it. I can't do this. Being around these morons, they taking my energy. It takes so much magic for me to counteract all the bullshit that goes on there. I stepped out on my own. I said, I've been thinking about this for a while and everything. Yes, it's scary. It is terrifying,
It is.
especially for a Virgo who likes stability. It's terrifying, yes. The rewards of the freedom that you have and peace of mind is stress free. It's so much worth it. It really is.
People have to look at it from this standpoint. When you are putting all of your energy, all of your 80 hours work week into this job that you are making a cap, your salary is capped at a specific amount. But look at the company that you're working for. What are their caps, and who is taking the bottom line, who's taking the gross profits, or the net profits home. It's not you. All you're doing is being worked for a salary, and maybe a bonus at the end, just like slide you in or whatever, but that bonus does not equate to the bottom line that they are taking home. So who are you? Like, are they better than you to get your energy like that, to get all of your energy that way? Or are you worth your energy?
Right. I Another thing I got tired of. I used to know that I was smarter than the people around me. Like I used to think to myself, why, 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 why do you have that position and I'm like here, and you're all the way up here? Because you know what, privilege does exist. I don't give a fuck what nobody says.
All day.
All day long. So I mean, I got tired of seeing that shit too. So um, meditation. I did a lot of meditation once. Did a lot of mantras. Um,
Affirmations.
affirmations, absolutely. I keep my mantra beads no matter where I go. They go with me.
Right
This
on.
is such a storehouse of power and energy.
And how do
Uh,
you use your mantra beads?
I use them to count. Um, start here, and
Mm-hmm.
I end up wherever the little stopper or whatever the ticker is called.
Mm-hmm.
It just depends on what the situation calls for. I
Right.
know I know some mantras by heart, but
Mm-hmm.
Kali mantras. That little stopper here is I can pull it down
Okay.
and put it to like wherever I want it to stop at. You know.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so Kali mantras are good for in the workplace. Um, the green, which is HREEM, it's a good one. But like I said, you got to counteract so much bullshit, so much negative energy. When do you decide? When do we decide as a people that you know what this shit is not worth it? We have all the energy, we have the melanin, and we got the resources. When are we gonna wake up and realize that if I can put all this energy into working a 9 to 5 and making these motherfuckers rich, why can't I do the same for myself?
Basically, yeah. You have to believe that you are worth it, that you are worthy of that, that you are worthy of, untold wealth. And again, um, going back to the imagination part, you have to employ your imagination to see yourself in those positions of prosperity and abundance. You know, um, if you do not know what that looks like, then how could you possibly put yourself there? You know, and so the only time that I would say that it would be good to like look at the or let me roll that back. When it when it comes to stepping outside of your environment and going around places of prosperity, um, going and eating at fine restaurants, even though you may be uh, drinking some water or some coffee or whatever and having a dessert, you're putting yourself into these areas where the energy of prosperity is all around you, and you are doing that with the intention of soaking it in for yourself, so you know what it looks like, so that you can call it to yourself. That is the only way. Going to um uh, 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 going and looking at houses, and it's not, again, this is not just to a cruise ship. This is actually just to put yourself outside of where you are. Steps. If you can't go and jump on a plane to Argentina, or jump on a plane to, Europe, or whatever, perhaps you can go to, uh, like I said, open houses, just local shit, but in a place that is higher, that is, vibrating at in a more abundant frequency, so that you can see what that looks like, so that you can call it to yourself. Now, it depends on what your bottom line is. So, whether you want to, what your idea of abundance is. Is it, what does that look like? Sometimes you really, really have to sit down and write that out. And that's the starting point for everybody. Write out what your best life would look like. that's the way that you start to call that to you, and you start and sit down and imagine it and think about it, and not even just the overall process. I want a house and a car, but what does a house look like? What does the decor look like? What does the car look like? What is that? Now you got the house and the car, but so is that it? Is it, are you traveling? Are you experiencing other cultures? Are you these are the things that you have to put time into, invest that time and that energy into. And then you also have to ask yourself, if you are spending the majority of your time combating bullshit in your job, is that the right thing for you? Is
Right.
that your bottom line?
Right. Yeah. And I always often push the 70s occult books. This is one of my favorite right here. It's Helping Yourself with the Power of Gnostic Magic.
Oh,
Rituals
yes.
are so easy to do. One ritual um, involves writing down a statement of intention, signing your name, and then burning.
Mm,
Ain't that
yes.
easy? Ain't that easy as hell?
Right
You
there.
know?
Right there.
Yeah, but what else do you think could magically we use our imagination besides guided meditation?
Letting go of things that no longer serve you. And that includes idealisms. So if you have subscribed, if you have been going to church, and I'm not, honestly, I'm not against, Christianity. I'm not against any religion for other people, because it might serve you very well. I know it doesn't serve me, but it, but but I will say though that uh, uh, even in your ideology, look at your ideology and how has it served you so far, thus far? How has that served you? If you've been going to the church for 15 years and you have been paying your tithes for 15 years and you have not gotten yourself out of it, I mean, you have continually to experience the same exact struggles. However, you are watching your preacher change cars, and every 2 years, and houses get bigger, and this and that and the third, and he looks prosperous, but you don't look prosperous. You don't feel prosperous. You are not abundant. You need to take a look at that. And that right there, that magically, people don't understand that your ideologies, your things that you have held on to that don't serve you will hold you back in your
Absolutely.
path.
There's another, absolutely, absolutely agree with you. There's a point that you made earlier that I want to go back to. You said that when you go into a setting or a social situation where people are abundant, uh, you can steal that energy and just
Absolutely.
redirect it to you. And people don't realize that is called vampiric magic.
Yes, ma'am.
That's
Yes, sir.
all it is. That's
Yes,
all
sir.
that it is. They make it seem like there's some true blood shit out there. No.
Mm-mm.
Vampiric magic is actually, it's just taking, I wouldn't even say stealing,
It's not.
it's bringing in
You're
energy.
absorbing. You're
Right.
absorbing. It's just absorption. And think about it this way. If you are in a trap house, you are absorbing energy. If you are in a fucking welfare office, you are absorbing the energy, and the energy is not good.
Right.
So why absorb those energies? We give energies and we absorb energies at the same time. That's just kind of how this works, as human beings. This is what we do, period. So why not put yourself in a place where in the place where the energies are, like I said, of abundance, of prosperity, of something that does not have lack around you.
There are some, absolutely. There are some rituals that I know of, where you can get dirt from like banks,
That's right.
you know, and use that in magical rituals to redirect and absorb that energy. As a matter of fact, I know of a particular ritual where you got to go to 7 different banks,
Mm.
seven banks,
Mhm.
and get the dirt from each bank, bring it back. And there's some
7 is a
other,
divine number, so
right,
yes.
and bring that and use that in your rituals and also on like on your altars. So,
Listen,
and
I went to a I was lucky enough to spend the night at a castle, um,
I
like a
saw
whole
that.
castle.
I
And of
saw
course, you
that.
have to look at that. Like, I mean, that was just like, happenstance, but it was great. But the thing about it is, if this castle was like 750 years old, now that's like tall, old money, prosperity, if you had never seen it. And it's like a total place of beauty. Now, of course, when you're picking up the dirt from, and so I got the dirt. That's what I was going to say. I brought home some dirt. But when you're getting dirt from these places, you want to make sure that it is not from a place where that had a lot of like, negative energy. I'm not going to say dark energy because dark energy is actually good, but negative energy and a lot of like pillaging, murder, and all that shit. And then this particular place did not. So yeah, you pick that shit up and use it. Absolutely. And then if you need something, that dirt, the earth holds a lot of energy.
Yes. You can use
Lots.
that uh, for almost pretty much anything, like to win a court case, go
Mm-hmm.
to courthouse.
Yep.
Uh, got something going on with the pigs. Y'all know what I mean by pigs. You go
Mm-hmm.
to a police station and get grab
Mm-hmm.
the dirt with that. So, like you said, using the earth. There's so much stuff that we can do, and I know in New York, uh, Jews, well, these Khazars, what they are actually are, um,
Okay.
they go around buildings chanting stuff out in the open,
Mm.
um, to bring prosperity to their businesses, and they're
Mm.
successful at doing it. They do it right out in the open. We see that and we don't blink an eye. But
Yep.
those of us who are in the know exactly what they're doing. We act like we don't know how to do that shit. Well, we don't. But I mean,
That's the thing.
get
We're
on that
just getting
shit.
back into it. Yeah.
Right.
When you go to a nail shop and they've got their altar sitting right there,
Mm-hmm.
blessing
Mm-hmm.
their business.
Right. They
So
also,
we don't think anything of it.
right.
But when we have an altar, then it's all of a sudden, bad, demonic, whatever.
Yeah. The exorcist type shit. They
Mm.
actually use the Asians, I know, use the color yellow in the front of their
Yes.
business. Magical workings, yellow brings in business.
Hmm.
So they're
And red
always doing
is
those.
money, prosperity.
Absolutely. People think that is just lust and power,
No,
but there's a lot more to the color red, which I'm bringing
absolutely. Yes,
today.
sir.
um, any other suggestions for like well, let me say this. We have to teach ourselves
Yeah.
business. I happen to go to school, and that was my major, was business management, because I always wanted to work for myself. I never wanted to continue working until I died. You
Right.
know what I mean? All broke down and no energy and everything's wrong with my body. I never wanted to do that. So a lot of us are not business minded, nor do we care to. You know, that programming has worked so good for so fucking long. I
Yeah.
understand we have to deprogram and reprogram ourselves because It's not going to happen overnight, especially with the way our people are conditioned through media, through TV, through
Absolutely. All the
social
time.
media.
It's visual reinforcement all the time. And we are
Absolutely.
visually, when you look at a news story, and they talk about it was two stories. Um, there was a black man who saw that his daughter his daughter went to the bathroom, and he saw that his daughter had been, was being accosted, and so he drugged the man out and beat his ass to death.
To death. He beat him to death.
He
Yes.
literally beat him to death. And then you had side by side a white guy who killed his wife and his two children. The way that the black guy was depicted as a thug with priors. Okay. The way the white guy was depicted was a man who did, who lost his mind, mental illness, the whole shit. It's just, and so the thing about it is, it again goes back to the point where we can't give a shit about how they depict us. They can't, because they're always going to. It's not stopped, and we can't wait for them to correct themselves. We have to do the correction.
Right.
So it's about stepping out, and again, Bullet, not giving a shit about how they're depicting us, what they think. We turn that shit off. If we don't like it, just turn it off and don't look at it, and work for ourselves. Do the work for ourselves. When you were talking about going off on your own, so a lot of people hold a lot of fear with that because of failure. Well, and because they're thinking, oh well, I'm not this business minded person. Most of us don't start off with business minds. We have to. It's a learn it situation, and you don't always have to go to school for it either. You can learn it from, you know, different pursuits. Trying, and it didn't work there, so then you try, and it didn't work there. If you look at any super successful business, I mean, or a super successful owner in the world, no matter what color he is or she is, um, you can't be afraid to fail. And a failure only teaches you things. And as a matter of fact, my personal ideology on failure is that the only real failure is when you don't try, when you don't give yourself a chance, when you don't, you know, reach out and actually push yourself past your limitations. You would be really, really surprised at how flexible and how, strong you actually are. You just don't know it because you're in that comfortable cubicle, what you think is comfortable, working your fucking life away for somebody else. But if you don't try, then you're always going to be wondering, well, what if? That right there is failure.
Right.
But trying something, it didn't work. Okay, so if it didn't work, that's just like a lesson so that you can do it differently, you know,
Right. I
and
do.
and correct yourself.
I apply that with magic, and I've always applied that.
Same,
Stuff that
absolutely.
doesn't work, I go back to the drawing board and I do it again until it does work. So,
Yes.
I mean, but back to your other point uh, about the media and how they depict us. A lot of people don't know that this was the original reason that TV was even invented. It was to the newly freed slaves. They had to let white women know that they wanted to rape them, and we had tails. and all that other bullshit that came out back then. That was the original reason that television came about. That was the original reason. The foundation of television has not changed. It is
Yes.
to program your mind.
Yes.
Absolutely. You know, um, and then, like back to your current point, is that yes, I have failed in my magical work. I have not let it stop me. I,
Yes.
but more often than not, I succeed. Because I am like a mad scientist when it comes to my rituals. I write everything down. I
Right.
do so much. Fear. There's no fear as far as magic is concerned. I've
Yes.
gotten over that. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? So I like how you put that, like about trying again.
Yeah, it's the only way. That is the only way. Every successful person, and I would also suggest people looking up the most successful people that, say if you are a real estate person or if you're interested in real estate, look up the most successful real estate person. Everybody that everyone that you can go and look up, they have all experienced many failures, not just one, not just two,
Mm-hmm.
not just a few, many. Sometimes it
Man.
takes, but you have to look at it this way. What these do, again, these are lessons that you learn from, that makes you stronger, that expands your mind, that makes you more confident, and because you've already experienced these things before. And that just kind of goes with anything that you're experiencing in life, period, be it school, be it relationships, be it home or business, whatever. Everything that happens to you or happens, or it's a lesson,
Right.
and it's a way to grow from it. As long as you recognize that as such. That's something that I learned when I was in my 20s, that I started to recognize that, like late 20s is like, so if I learn, or so if I extract the lessons from these things, these experiences, then I can, continue. And if I see it, if it's presented to me again, I'll know what to do. And not only will I know what to do, but I also can, counsel other people on it, because I've experienced it. I've been through it. But if you do not look at it as lessons, if you're constantly thinking, oh man, life is fucked up, life is this and life is that, well, guess what? The universe is compliant to your wishes. So if you're
Yeah.
sitting up there talking about how fucked up your life will continue to be fucked up.
Fucked up. Right. And just to go back on that other point, yeah, I have failed in my medical work.
Yes.
Um, I didn't get to this point without trial and error. You know,
Yes.
what many people see now is the end result. But look how
Yes.
long I've been doing it. I've been doing it over 20 years now. So
Thank
thank you.
you.
I have not been successful this entire time. Not
Hmm.
at all. So, but I tell you this, like you said, it makes you more confident, it makes you stronger. When you see that first spell work, the confidence that comes with just that,
Listen.
keep going, keep going. Absolutely, absolutely.
Woo! And then the thing about it is too, you have to, just like you've got to take responsibility for the bad things, you also have to take responsibility for your successes.
Right,
So if you do a spell and that shit works for you, you stick your chest out and be like, I did that shit.
right,
I
right,
did
right,
that. That's what I did. That was nice. Ooh,
right. And you
yes.
get a rush from it too.
No,
You get a rush.
completely.
Yeah.
That
So
doesn't mean that you can't, that you still, have arrived. And I mean, you can,
no.
just like you've been a practitioner for 20 years, and there are things that you are still learning. As long as you
Mm,
keep space open to learn and grow for as long as you are in, this meat suit in this body. That's what M Rain is always saying. Yeah, this meat suit, and I'm like, yeah, I like that. But
that
as
is
long
what it
as
is.
it is, it's so as long as you, I mean, we're spirits having a human experience. As long as you are in this experience, don't limit yourself. Grow, grow, grow.
Right, right. I've seen many people get such a large ego from
Mm-hmm.
months and under a year. And like, wow, how'd you get that kind of confidence? 'Cause I want
Wait,
that.
start working for other people. Listen, I just be looking like, what we doing? What are we doing right now? What are we doing?
Right, right,
Mm.
right. Um, wow. I think in our last conversation we got on that topic about people being. The internet has created a bunch of fucking dumbasses.
Yeah. Or it just exposed. It's not like it's
Right,
created. It just
right,
exposed them.
right, right. All these motherfuckers can do anything. They can
Yeah.
create Harry Potter magic. I'm like, wow, 20 fucking years, and I ain't figured out how to do it like y'all.
Right. Right.
It's an insult to me. It really
Well,
is.
it is. Well, to me, it's insulting because the people are actually giving them all this, this money and this energy or whatever, and they come out with nothing. And I'm, while I can't stand human beings sometimes, but I love them at the same time. And I really don't, I really hate to see people just being fucked over. And so that's like, that's painful to see. But it's also poignant lessons that the people who are getting fucked over must take with them so that they can grow from it, and hopefully they do. Some people don't, though.
But it's like this in the microwave society is what I like to call it. I like using that term.
Yeah.
When you can
Instant.
offer people instant gratification, yeah, they're gonna run to it. So people capitalize off of that.
Yeah.
People don't want to put in the work, they don't want to read,
And time.
yeah.
Time is, I'll tell you, and I actually did a little video on that too. Time is actually like it's a human construct, and it's something for us to measure. But when it's dealing with universal energy and spirit energy, they don't operate off of our time.
Right.
So why would you think that, because you think, because you're working for something, that it's supposed to be automatic or instantaneous. Now, if you need something like in a timely fashion, in a specific timely fashion, you got to state that. And whether it's actually supposed to be or not is still up in the air. But the fact of the matter is, magic period is not just a whole big timely, like you said, microwave thing that's just supposed to happen just like that.
Right.
Harry Potter magic, it doesn't happen that way. Like, just the depictions I was watching, what was it? What's it called? It's actually a really, really good movie. He's like one of the Avengers.
Mr. Nobody?
No. It's he's okay. I know you saw this movie because you're like into the movies and whatnot. I know you saw this movie. It's Mr. Is it Mr. He got into a car accident, and then his hands were damaged, and then he had to go over to yes, Doctor Strange. There you go.
Doctor Strange.
Okay. All right. So Doctor Strange is a perfect scenario because Doctor Strange actually exposes a lot of real energy tactics However, when you're watching the movie is a theatrical depiction. So of course it's going to be more, defined, more, in your face in the color, in color. But the way that it actually happens is not going to happen in that way. Like when she, stops him and sends him off into the astral realm, he's not actually going to roll up physically and run into the astral. It is that's not going to happen. However, the experience is very, very real, though. That the realm is very real. All of it is, but it's subtle. So just like the time and everything, it doesn't happen the way it in the movies, but it does not make the magic or the energy any less real.
Right, right, absolutely. I often say that people, to get an idea of magic, look at the YouTubers and get a feel for who might be real life practitioners, but the movies is going to glamorize
Of course, yeah.
magic.
It's an exaggeration.
Exactly, exactly. And Doctor Strange is a perfect example. I'm glad you brought that
Isn't
one
it?
up.
And you can watch that movie over and over again and
Yeah,
get other subtleties and other
yes,
information, you know?
yes. Not just that though. There's a couple of old movies, like when they had the occult revival back in the 70s, when all these books, like the one I pointed out earlier, helping yourself
Hmm.
empowerment. There
You
were
got to
actually
post that. Make sure to post that in the because I need to look that one up.
helping yourself with the power and Gnostic
Yes.
methodology. I always uh, recommend his books highly.
Hmm.
Uh, there were movies that came out that talked about magic, but they put it either in a serious way or comedy,
Yeah.
comedic way. Like a good example of that's called Witch Hunt,
Hmm.
starring Dennis Hopper, Shirley Ralphus. Funny how they always got a black person, a melanated person in these kind of
Hmm.
movies. Off the top of my head, I could think of one where Nell Carter was in. It's called she was with Chevy Chase. I'm showing my age, but
No, me too. But yeah, because we probably the same age, man. I'm like 45, so
I'm 48. So.
yeah, same age, same.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm telling you, it's a I I love the fact that they do put it in plain sight, you know.
Yes,
They put it
absolutely.
all in plain sight.
Yes, yes.
But
Even
you wouldn't know it until you actually start doing the actual work and start doing,
right,
studying.
right, right. Um, you had something to say?
No, I said
Oh.
phone.
um, you want to have a final word about imagination?
Just do it. Be like Nike and just do it. Just when you're go back to your child's place and really start to play around with that. Even in your off times, you'll be very surprised at how much it's been stifled, it's been pushed down, but it's not gone. It's there, and your imagination will serve you greatly in your visualization of whatever you're trying to happen. If you're trying to call your best love to you, if you're looking for a relationship, you've got to imagine the person who best suits you, you know, and write it down. So imagining it, because all is mental, and then also writing it down. Our words, the written words, are extremely
Absolutely.
powerful, especially coming from your hand.
Right. Yes, absolutely wise words from the lovely Bast Deluna. somebody is in the group saying, I did a sigil spell, got this, I'm not saying what it's for. 2 years
Mhm.
later, this manifested. The decision had to be made as it was occurring, but I sort of fell over at the last moment because I couldn't believe what was happening. Let me just say that the first time I did a sigil spell, the results manifested in 3 days exactly. And
Mm.
I was beside myself with that. That's one of the easiest uh, magical systems to work with, especially if you anoint the sigil with some kind of fluid that comes from
Mhm.
your body.
Right on.
It's very, very powerful. I'm not gonna have Bass answer this question. Tammy has a question. She says, "So I have a question. Do you believe the most simplest spells or rituals are easier versus doing a big one?"
I'm sorry. It said what was it?
Okay. Tammy is in the room asking, "Do you believe the most simplest spells or
Oh.
rituals are easier versus doing a big one?"
Oh. They can have the same kind of weight, just depends on what your intention is. I mean, honestly, you can speak, you know, so let me put it this way. You can do a big elaborate ritual and draw a salt circle and call the four corners and do all these elaborate things for prosperity, yeah? And call it down and spend 3 hours inside the circle and this, not, and the third, and then get out of the circle and be like, man, shit is so fucked up. So what
Right.
did you just do? You know, it's like so it's like your words, everything means something, that's for sure. So yeah, you can definitely put there's a lot of weight in the elaborate um, rituals, but there's a lot of weight in our everyday etymology. The words that you're using every single day speak power in your life or give away your power in your life. So
I,
those things, it all matters.
I absolutely agree with that. Uh, when I first started, it was always going to be an elaborate ritual because I actually like the organization of a big ritual.
Mhm.
You know, as time passed, there's some times where you're unavailable and you need to do immediate on the spot methods. So,
Absolutely.
uh, like you said, it just depends. But I like doing them both. I still like doing elaborate rituals. It's a Virgo thing, I think, with me personally.
I like doing candle magic for sure. I'm a big believer in candle magic, but I think I'm a little ADD for the big elaborate rituals.
Right.
So like the big, I just sometimes but that again speaks to your focus and your imagination. So sometimes so um, science says that it takes 17 seconds for you to hold a thought in your head for it to have like real power and resonance. 17 seconds. Most
And thank
people can't get past 7 seconds, like the what is it, like the wasn't like those vines. Yeah. I'm thinking about my kids, and my kids used to watch those vines all the time, and I'm just like, how in the hell are you going to put out something that's like 7 seconds? Like, well, what, how do you get that? But obviously they did it because there was a lot of viners that blew up the spot. Um but it also kind of took away our focus, and especially like to a Twitter, and such the small characters, like you can only it's in one respect it's poignant, and it's a challenge to kind of get a real point in 140 characters, whatever. On the other hand, it takes away from your ability to really soak in, texts that are really sizable, and you go through, because you can't shortcut that shit. Like, you gotta spend time and take it in. So yeah, with that said, uh, there's power in both, but it's good to cultivate, like I said, your focus. Your focus is everything.
Absolutely. Thank you, Shamanic Mystic, for answering that question. The movie I was thinking about with Nell Carter is called Modern Problems. Um,
Oh yeah, please, like post that on the, like, put it in the comments, because I have to see. I have to look these things up myself.
okay, I will do.
Hmm.
Here's another question from I See You Looking. Why
Hmm.
do so many practitioners bash books? And that is how anything is learned, from a new job to driving a car to college. If you practice while reading, what's wrong? I'm gonna tell you. Yeah, let me answer this question. I'm a bookworm.
Hmm.
I'm
Me
a straight
too.
bookworm.
Me
I
too.
love to read. Anytime somebody says to me, or says it in general, oh, you don't need books. Oh yeah, all right. So
Watch out for the mugs.
yeah, exactly. How else are you going to learn anything? Because ancestors wrote stuff down. What you going to do? Absorb it through the air? You know, it's an excuse.
Yeah.
Ask me, for people in this microwave society to say, "Oh, you got the power because you got melanin." Yeah, well, you don't know how to activate that melanin. You don't know how to use all of your brain, and all of your mind power. So get the fuck along with that bullshit. I read my books, so
Period. End of story. You can't be in this walk without reading. That's just all it is to it. And you can't be true. You can't elevate without reading. Just, it is what it is.
we're gonna take this last question,
Mhm.
from the two gardens. Now I'll let my guest Bast answer this one. Who do you recommend evoking for a beginner like me?
Evoking. So I would not actually suggest evoking anyone per se. I would say it is most powerful, especially for a beginner, to start to align yourself with your divine family that is transitioned, your ancestors. That
Absolutely.
those are extreme. They are extremely important. They will work for you. They are of your bloodline, and other deities and gods and things like that, when they feel like you are ready, they will come to you. But you going and barking up a tree when you don't know, you can't identify exactly what the tree is not that's not the best way to go about it. For a beginner, read, lots of reading, never stop reading, and get to know your ancestors. Build a altar. It could be something simple, just candles and flowers. Picture of them. Make sure that it does not have a living person in the picture. It's just specifically just that ancestor. Or and there's also a lot of power in aligning yourself and recognizing the ancestors that you don't know, but you want to make sure that that they are highly elevated ancestors, because just like family members, there are family members that you would not necessarily want to commune with, that you don't want to leave your kids around,
Right.
the low vibration, and they can still have those lower vibrations even in the other realms.
Right.
So it's about calling your highly elevated ancestors to you, just to commune, and don't start asking them for things. Just get to know them.
Right. Exactly. Brilliant answer. I'm just going to add on to it briefly. A lot of people want to jump right into advanced arts. Do it
Seriously.
as Bast said and suggested, get to know your ancestors first. Do small, simple shit first.
Yes.
Then move on. There's no time period for you to learn. There's
It's
plenty of
not a
time.
race.
Right, exactly. I've had a great time again, even better than the
Me
first.
too.
Would you do me the
Good.
honor? Would you come again?
Oh, please. You ain't got to ask.
So we are going to do this again. Thanks so much for joining me, sister. I love talking to you.
Thank you for having me on your and in your space, and with your audience, and I appreciate everybody.
I appreciate you, sister. I got Bast business information down in the comments in the description box below. I believe if she wants to give out her information, she's welcome to do so.
Well, I am on. Thank you so much. I am on. I'm on Instagram under Bast Deluna. I've got a Facebook page, and I also have a YouTube channel. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel under Bast Deluna. I also have a a Facebook page, a business page called Moonlight Bruja, where I'm giving readings, but I'll also be. I'm working on some conjure products, soaps, and things like that. Just to help a brother or sister out. And the website is coming soon.
Okay, good deal. And just to say about Bast products, she gifted me the whitelist products. The products are pretty nice. The body butter.
Oh, that's my sorry, that's my Simply Delish also. So I've got Simply, that's a different, but that's not my non-magical line. This way the business is Simply Delish, DALISH. That's the website, www.simplydelish. I'm also on Instagram under Simply Delish Beauty. DALISH, and just check me out. And I'm so glad that you love the products and everything. There's more than where that came from.
Okay, cool. Okay, so we're gonna wrap this up. I want to thank my audience here for tuning in, and thank Ms. Bast, and we will do this again. My name is Magick, the Magical Relief Supply Shop. I'll see you brothers and sisters again next time. Peace.
Many blessings. Many blessings. Thank you.